We're continuing our review with the material from test 4. So we're starting the material on lines and graphing. All right, so the first question asks to find the distance between points minus 3, 5, and 2, minus 4. So we're just going to use the distance formula. And let's see, we subtract x coordinates squared, and then subtract y coordinates squared. Okay, I like to line up my points so that I can easily match the x and y coordinates. All right, here are the x coordinates. Let's subtract 2, subtract minus 3, squared plus minus 4, subtract 5. All right, so here in parentheses we get the 2 plus 3, and here we get a minus 9. So we're squaring 5, 2 plus 3 squared, and we get 25. And here we're squaring 9, and we have 81. So altogether that's the square root of 106. And number 2 asks to find the midpoints, the midpoint between 2, 7 and minus 6, 4. So we just have to remember that midpoint formula. Let's write it down. Okay, so it's a point. And basically what we're doing is we're taking the average of the x values and the average of the y values. Okay, again, lining up the points so we can match up x and y values. Okay, here are the x values, 2 plus minus 6. And here are the y values, 7 plus 4. Okay, so we have minus 4 over 2. And we have 11 over 2, which is equal to minus 2, comma, 11 over 2. All right, so that's the midpoint. And number 3, we're finding a slope. Let's write down the slope formula. In the numerator, we subtract y coordinates, and in the denominator, x coordinates. Okay, let's line up our points. Here are the y coordinates, 5 minus 8, and the x coordinates, minus 2 subtract minus 3. So we have negative 3 in the numerator, and then in the denominator we have minus 2, let's see, minus 2 plus 3, which is 1. So we get a slope of minus 3. And number 4, we're asked to graph a line with this equation. Now, in order to graph the line, we need a starting point and we need the slope. So we're going to put this in the form y equal mx plus b, so that we can see what the y-intercept is, and that'll be our starting point, and the slope will be the coordinate of x. We'll start by subtracting 2x from both sides. So we have 3y is equal to minus 2x plus 9, and then divide by 3. So we have y is equal to minus 2/3 x, that's our slope, plus 9 over 3, plus 3. So we have the slope of minus 2 over 3, and we have a y-intercept of 0, 3. There's the y-intercept. So we're going to start at 0, 3, and then we're going to count off down 2, this minus 2. We go in the negative y direction 2 units down, down 2, and then we're going to go right 3 to get to another point on the line. All right, so let's start at 0, 3. There's 0, 3, and we're going to go down 2 and right 3. There's right 3. And then just basically connect these. And that's the graph, that's our line. That's our line. 2x plus 3y is equal to 9. Here in number 5, we're finding the slope and y-intercept. So again, we're going to just put this in the form y equal mx plus b. All right, subtract 5x. And we have 7y is equal to minus 5x plus 13. And now divide both sides by 7. And we have y is equal to minus 5 over 7x plus 13 over 7. So there's our slope. Let's write it here. The slope is minus 5 over 7. And there's the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. So our y-intercept is 0 for x and 13 over 7 for y. In number 6, we're finding the equation of the line through 2 minus 3 and with slope 4. So we'd like to use our line formula, y equal mx plus b. We already know what m is. We were given that. All right, so let's just fill that in. Y equal 4x plus b. And now we want to figure out what b is, and so we'll use this point. We'll substitute 2 for x and minus 3 for y. All right, so we have minus 3 is equal to 4 times 2, that's 8, plus b. And just subtract 8 from both sides, and we have b is equal to minus 11. So let's finish what we started here, and we have the equation of our line is y is equal to 4x minus 11. Okay, number 7, we want to find the equation of the line parallel to y minus 5x equals 3 and through point 2 minus 7. So we have this information that the line we're trying to find is parallel to this line. From this information, we're going to get the slope. Because remember that parallel lines have the same slope. So we want to know what is the slope of this line. Well, let's put this in the form y equal mx plus b, and we'll read off what the slope is. All right, so let's add 5x to both sides. And we have y is equal to 5x plus 3. So we see from this that the slope of our line is 5. All right, so the equation of our line starts as follows. Y is equal to 5x plus whatever the y-intercept is. We'll figure out what the y-intercept is by substituting in this given point. All right, so we'll put x equal 2, and we'll put y equal minus 7. So we have minus 7 is equal to 10 plus b. And we'll use this to solve for b. Subtract 10 from both sides. And we have b is equal to minus 17. So now we can finish this equation, and we get the equation of our line is y is equal to 5x minus 17. Now we want to find the equation of the line perpendicular to line 3y plus x equal 4 and through minus 1, 2. So we're going to use this information, perpendicular to line 3y plus x equal 4, to get the slope of our line. So let's put 3y plus x equal 4 in the form y equal mx plus b. Subtract x from both sides. And we have 3y is equal to minus x plus 4. And solve for y, continue solving for y by dividing by 3. And we have y is equal to minus 1/3 x plus 4/3. Now this is the information that we're interested in. And we remember that perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. So our line will have a slope that is the negative reciprocal of minus 1/3. Well, that is, the negative reciprocal of minus 1/3 is 3. So we have a slope of 3. And now we can go on from there, start writing the equation of the line. Y is equal to 3x plus b. Okay, and now we'll use the point to figure out what b is. We'll put x equal to minus 1 here, and y equal 2. 2 is equal to minus 3 plus b, and solve for b. B is equal to 5. So now we can finish this equation that we started, and we have y is equal to 3x plus 5. In number 9, we want to find the x and y intercepts of 7x minus 5y is equal to 17. So let's remember that to find an x-intercept, what we do is substitute y equals 0, and to find a y-intercept, we substitute x equals 0. So let's do that. First, let's start with the x-intercept, and we're going to substitute y equals 0 right here. All right, so basically, if y is equal to 0, this term drops out, and we're left with 7x equals 17. And divide by 7, and we quickly get the x-intercept, 17 over 7. And in point form, we write 17 over 7 in the x-coordinate and 0 for y. All right, now for the y-intercept, we substitute x equals 0, so that means this term is going to drop out, and we're left with minus 5y equals 17. Divide by minus 5. And there we have the y-intercept, minus 17 over 5. And in point form, we put 0 for the x-coordinate and minus 17 over 5 for the y-coordinate. Number 10 asks us to find the equation of the line that is parallel to the y-axis and goes through point 57. All right, parallel to the y-axis, what kind of line is that? All right, let's just draw a little picture. Here's the y-axis. There's a line parallel to the y-axis, so we see that we're talking about a vertical line. And we remember that a vertical line has equation x equal a. So given our point, we just have to look at the x-coordinate, and that'll be our a. So we have the vertical line x equal 5. Number 11 says line x equal 5 goes through quadrants blank. All right, we have to figure out what quadrants does line x equal 5 go through? Well, first of all, x equal 5 is of the form x equals, so we know it's or x equal a, we know it's vertical. And it's 5 units to the right of 0. So let's count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have the point 5, 0. So we're talking about a vertical line through this point. All right, there's our line x equal 5. And here are the quadrants. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So we see that this vertical line goes through quadrants 1 and 4. In number 12, we want to find the equation of the circle with center 2 minus 7 and radius 5. Here's the general form, or let's say the standard form for the equation of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And that's a circle that has center hk and the radius is r. So we see that the center h and k come to the right of these subtraction symbols, and the radius is, on the right hand side, the radius is squared. So we want to find the equation of the center of the circle with this center. So this is our h, and this is our k, and this is our radius. All right, so we have x minus 2 squared plus y subtract minus 7 squared plus the radius, equal the radius squared, 5 squared. All right, so let me just simplify that. Here we have x minus 2 squared plus, now y minus 7, that I'll write that as y plus 7 squared, is equal to 25. All right, so we see from this that if the x-coordinate of the center is positive, then in this set of parentheses it appears as with a negative sign in the middle, and if the coordinate is negative, then here in the parentheses we have a sum. Okay. In number 13, we're given the equation of the circle, and we want to find the center and the radius. Okay, so here we have x squared. Now, that is the same as x minus 0 squared, plus y plus 5 squared, that's the same as y subtract minus 5 squared, is equal to 2, which is the same as square root of 2 squared. So now this is in the form of the x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So we see from this that the x-coordinate of the center is 0, the y-coordinate is minus 5, and the radius is the square root of 2. Number 14, we want to find the center and the radius of the circle given over here. Now, this is not in standard form, but we're going to put it in standard form by completing the square in the x's and in the y's. All right, so step 1 is to rewrite, putting the x's together, the x terms together, that is x squared plus 10x. And we'll get ready for completing the square. We'll put a blank in. And then let's start with the y terms, y squared minus 6y. And put in the blank, getting ready for completing the square. And let's also bring this minus 3 over to the other side as plus 3. So we're just we're also adding 3 to both sides. And balance it out by putting in the 2 blanks. All right, now we're going to complete the square. So remember, completing the square requires taking half the middle term, squaring it, and adding it on. So half of 10 is 5, squared is 25. So we put that here. Let's do the same. For the y's, half of 6 is 3, and squared is 9. Let's add that on here as well. All right, now we're ready to write the x terms as a perfect square and the y terms also. And here we have 37 on the right hand side. All right, let's factor this. So this factors as square root of x. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 25 is 5. And we have a plus sign in the middle. Here we have a y. Here we put the square root of 9. And you see we have a negative sign in the middle. All right, so that's the circle in standard form. And now we can easily read off the center and the radius. The center has x coordinate minus 5. It's always the opposite sign. And y coordinate positive 3. And the radius is the square root of 37.